Welcome to the Not Superheroes Cause Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be presents for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing, the barbecue, is. Hello, I'm Sean Laurie. I hope you guys are doing great today. I appreciate the love, appreciate the different texts and DMs I've been getting from people. So shout out to y'all. Remember to make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend. We're on every platform, man. So with that being said, I am very excited, very happy to have this cool guy that I've been able to get to know, and amazing father, amazing person. And he's a Cali transplant like me. Moved from Cali to San Antonio. Adam, how you doing, my guy?
Good, Sean, man. This is my first podcast, so
That's
thank
dope.
you for giving me this opportunity. I'm excited,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, coming from California, Northern California, San Jose to be specific. But um, I was there for 20 years, and I've been here for 20 years. So I'm pretty much, you
Yeah.
know,
So would you say you're a Texan now, or are you still gonna claim Cali? Which one, if you had to choose?
well, I mean, if I had to choose, obviously, I'm gonna go for where I was born and raised. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
All my family's still there, so there would really be no reason for me to disconnect myself from,
Yeah.
where I'm from, because my experience here in Texas, in San Antonio, for the last 20 years, I'm sure has been affected, because of where I come from and what I brought, here. I'm not a new transplant. I've been here since '05, so
Yeah.
you know, um, things weren't as crazy as they've been, lately, but I definitely, I love Texas. I've been here. It's been good to me. I'm a veteran, so they've taken care of me. Um, I'll always have a loyalty to San Antonio.
Yeah.
So the Air Force, and then just I graduated from UTSA. I own a home here. I work here. We met here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll always have a place here in San Antonio. But
That's dope, bro.
yeah, man, yeah.
I like it. I like it. So I do like to do a little icebreaker. So I would just ask you then, what is the biggest difference? Because you said 20 years for both. So what's the biggest difference just from what's one thing I guess that sticks out here that is different in California?
For me personally, um, ooh, it'd have to be two things,
Okay.
and yeah, and I'll make it quick. I don't want to get too much into detail because I can do that, but it would have to be food, one, and the for the most part the temperament of the people here in
Yeah.
Texas, in South Texas, San Antonio to be
Yeah.
specific. Um, I like the food here. I have friends that come and visit me, and they're like, Tex-Mex, or your Mexican food there is not the same, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da. And I get it. There are certain dishes that aren't very popular here that are popular where I'm from,
Yeah.
and vice versa. But I've always been. I'm also part Japanese, so I've always been very cultured.
Yeah.
And
So
it doesn't. If I'm somewhere, I'm gonna just put myself into that culture, into their food, into So I like Tex-Mex.
yeah.
I'm super judgy. I'll be like, hey, that Tex-Mex place sucks. That Tex-Mex place is good. But it would definitely have to be the food is a big difference. I'm used to having more options in
Yeah.
California. And then I'm a burrito guy. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying?
yeah.
And even burritos from Northern California, where I'm from, and Southern California, where everybody thinks I'm from,
Yeah.
are completely different. So
True.
that's my big thing. As far as the people and the temperament, the first thing I noticed were people were chill here. They were kickback. They were relaxed. Again, I came in '04 for basic training for the Air Force.
Yeah.
Finished that, Went to Keesler in Mississippi, Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi. Did some training there. Went to Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. Finished my training there. Got orders to San Antonio, and I was like, oh, cool. I really get to see the world.
Yeah.
Right? So, um, I've been here, basic training, and my first duty station, and from what I've experienced, people here are a lot kinder.
Yeah.
You know, not to say that people where I'm from
No,
aren't kind.
no, I agree. I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I definitely feel similar. You know, it's a different type of vibe. But again, I love my people in Cali. But yeah, it's definitely a different type of energy. I feel like.
Yeah,
With that being said, man, I want to say because you have, if I remember, how you have all girls.
I do. I have three daughters.
Three daughters. Okay, so I was gonna ask you that because, like you said, you know, you being a father and things like that, of three girls, and you being from Cali, from San Antonio, and the vibes different and things like that. So I'm just curious. You know, you're raising your girls out here now, but how was it for you growing up, being raised by your family and your parents and stuff like that in the Bay, right? In Northern California. So
Yes,
like
sir.
how was that for you?
The Bay Area is a crazy place, and I will definitely tell anybody who hasn't been there. If they want to go to California, LA is cool, San Diego's cool, Southern California's cool, but check out the Bay Area. It's got its own vibe, it's got its own culture. Um, it's very poppin'. I mean, we got it cracking. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. It's like kind of the trifecta, and then all the cities all around. You go a little bit more north. You have Sacramento, the capital. I actually grew up listening to a lot of, like, my favorite rappers were from Sacramento, right? All my friends were like the Bay rap, and I'm like, yeah, for sure, Mac Dre, all E40, I love all that stuff, but um, I was like into the Brother Lynch Hung, X-Rated, like SIBO,
Yeah.
the gangster rap stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of that.
Yeah.
Um, I like lyricism. I like a lot of types of music, but um, so growing up, uh, you know, that type of music was had a big influence in the friends I had, and the things that I did and experienced and got myself into, good and bad. But my dad raised me,
Mhm.
so that definitely had a huge impact on my life and who I am as a today and as a father to my three daughters. But
Mhm.
yeah, my dad raised me, man, and
Really?
my yeah, my mom and my dad split when I was about 4 years old,
Okay.
um, and my dad got custody of me, and rightfully so. Growing up, my parents were kind of toxic. My mom, was doing her own thing, but she kind of came back around as I got into my preteens and high school and stuff, and but I was always kind of aware of my situation, my family situation, who my family members were, kind of like what people were going through. But being an only child, and I do that because my dad raised me, and I'm the only kid. My mom, she has three other children, my half brother and half sisters, all older, who I'm very close with. Um, so, but my dad raised me. My dad's old school, man. You
Mhm.
know, my grandfather was in the Air Force. He came here from Mexico, joined the Army, switched over to the Air Force, met my grandmother in Japan. They had three kids. My dad was the middle one. He was kind of the spoiled brat, athlete, played basketball. He was a great basketball athlete. I have a lot of store clippings, newspaper clippings. I think on my Facebook I have a couple pictures of him in high school.
Oh.
He was a point guard, could dribble both ways. He's like John Stockton. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
John Stockton is played for
Yeah.
Utah. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like my dad's style. So my childhood was very interesting. And being from the Bay Area, the Bay Area is very fast paced. A lot of people, if they haven't been there, there's a lot of money there. There's a lot of poverty there, and everybody's, kind of hustling. What's the saying? Keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. Yeah, so everybody's hustling, man. Whether it's legal, illegal, everybody is trying to survive out there because it costs a lot of money to live there. My dad was a painter, so he was in construction, So, but he owned his own company. He always did his own thing. My dad's a cool guy, but he's very, straightforward. He's hardcore. He's tough. And being an only child, you could assume kind of, where I went. I played sports growing up: baseball, football, basketball, but baseball was my sport. And my dad was just like, this is gonna be my ticket. You know what I'm saying? So, there was a lot of expectation there as a kid, a lot of pressure to kind of perform even at a young age, but not a lot of focus on like school, right? It was like, hey, just do the bare minimum. You're smart enough. Da 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 da. But growing up as a young kid, I was always kind of nerdy. I was into microscopes. I was into math, and I had all the Ninja Turtles, bro. I had the original toys. I had
Yeah.
the box that you could put all the figures in. I had the turtle van. I had the blimp, bro. I had everything, bro. But I was just into that kind of stuff. And my dad wanted me to be this athlete, this tough guy, kind of how he was raised.
Mm.
A very Asian household.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, outside of that, and I don't know if you want to
Well,
maybe.
no, I want to ask you because that's good what you're saying. I want to ask you like what because being a single father obviously is not easy, right? So I'm sure your dad was doing what he felt was the best, right, for you.
For
But
sure.
what values or lessons do you feel like he helped instill in you? And then were there like maybe a specific moment or experience that shaped the way you saw how your father is?
Ooh, that's a good one, man. Yeah, for sure. My dad was really big on hard work, work hard at, having a strong work ethic, um, on time. You know, uh, he's a loyal guy. He's an honest guy, but he's also a straight up guy. No BS type of person. You know what I'm saying? Little bit of a temper problem, but hey, the set you're a kid in the '70s, and you got a kid in the '80s. Like back then was different, but I've always believed that working hard in whatever you do, is really the best way to kind of just figure out your life. And me having, so I have three daughters. My oldest is 21, so I'm
Mm.
40. I was 19. It was with high school sweetheart, I guess you could say. We met at the end of high school, but you know, um, I was young with that one,
Yeah.
right? But even at that age, I was like, I got to get a job, a real job, you know, got to figure something out because I got a human coming. Like, I'm doing all this shit. Like, I'm doing all this, I'm partying, I'm having fun, man. Like I said, my dad was really big on the sports, which taught me a lot of discipline. It taught me a lot of about teamwork. It taught me a lot about, you know, communicating, right? Because you got to communicate. I was a catcher. I see the whole field. I'm
Yeah.
communicating with the pitcher. I'm watching the runners that are on base. I used to throw people out for my knees, bro. Like my dad,
Mm.
I mean, he was just my biggest fan. But at
Yeah.
the same time, that's all it was. It was just hard work all the time. It wasn't a lot of fun time. And that's probably because my mom wasn't around, and that was probably would have been her kind of niche, right? So,
Yeah.
um, hard work, being honest, being loyal, being direct, you know, um, and he's a good guy. He's a
Yeah.
good guy, man. And for the second part of that question, that's tough, bro. My dad, he like I said, he took care of me. He made
Yeah.
sure I was fed. He made sure I had, clothes on my back. He always tried to put me in good schools, even though, at times he maybe struggled, you know. Like I would be in private school one year and then public school the next and then back in private school. And, I eventually finished out all public school, but, he was always trying to just keep things safe and nice for me, but we clashed a lot. So it probably wasn't even until I was in my 20s, bro, where we kind of reconnected, and and maybe hashed out some old shit that happened, and
Yeah.
and then I really started to see, he's a sad man. He's gone through a lot of his own shit. He hid a lot of his own pains, and he took care of me, but I didn't know. I was a kid. I didn't know what he was going through with his life. I saw all the relationships he was going through, and not having my mom around and shit like that. But you know, you don't know as a kid. You don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So I think maybe when I was maybe when my grandma and my grandfather passed away a couple years apart, right? And growing up, going to their house was always that's what we did. So I think seeing him kind of just that really breaking him, you know, and him telling me a lot of things what he wished he could have done better and this and that, and I'm over here like, damn, I survive. I'm able to kind of, I've experienced a lot of ups and downs in my life, but I've always came through because of the shit he taught me, and so it probably wasn't until then that I kind of had this more respect for him and understanding of him. And
Mhm.
I love my dad. He's a good dude, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one, bro.
No, man, no, I like that. You actually answered because I was wondering, like, did you start to have a better appreciation as you got older? But it also, well, which you basically said you did after you hashed it out, but it made me think as well, because last week I actually spoke about, the trauma that we deal with, right? Don't matter if you're the perfect parent or not, right? Like we all have some type of childhood trauma that we deal with. We just ignore it, whatever the case is. And so it sounds like your dad also has stuff, right? Again, in the 70s, all these different things that he dealt with, but now he has a life to take care of. So he's not even able to really address all the BS that he dealt with in his life, right? It's like, I don't have time for that. So I just got to kind of ignore that and do what I need to do. And so, with that being said, did you feel did you feel like emotionally connected to him like growing up, or was there more so like a distance between you guys? Because like you said, you guys clash. Like yes, you're doing sports. He's your biggest fan, which is amazing, right? But because not even at not I don't want to say a fault of his own, but because of the stuff he dealt with, because he's a single father, because there's so many other things that he's dealing with, not just in the past, but what he was probably dealing with while raising you, right? Like, what were you guys able to be emotionally connected, or was there some of that distance at the time?
Oh yeah, no man. We. So my mom used to always tell me, man, when I would spend time with her, I would have my weekends with her, and we talk about, you know, I used to get spanked, right? Old school, bro. Like kids
Yeah,
don't get spanked nowadays. At least not the way,
yeah,
80s and 90s kids used to get spanked, bro.
yeah,
Um, and you can just imagine, as I'm growing up and I'm starting to get big from sports, and I'm, the testosterone's pumping through my body, and I'm,
yeah,
and it's like, what are you gonna do, Dad? I'm a man now, and like you kind of taught me how to take an ass whooping. What are you gonna? You can't keep spanking me, bro. So um, my mom would always say you have a lot of insight, even at a young age, of how my dad was, and but I don't know, man. He's it's it's a tough thing because like you said, he's raising me, and he's in his 20s and early 30s. He, you know, I can answer this now honestly. He from what we've talked about, but he didn't get to do the things he wanted to do.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And I can relate things that he would say growing up, because we weren't really emotionally connected. We were connected through like, that's my dad. That's my. He was proud of me, bro. Like, which was toxic.
mm,
Also because in situations where maybe, a coach would need to correct me or a teacher would need to correct me, and, you know, I'm over here being stubborn and kind of like, oh, you can't tell me shit. Instead of my dad being like, no, you need to respect these people. They're your elders. They're the ones who are guiding you when I'm not here to guide you, right? He's kind of like, oh, I got your back, son. Like, we're going to go to this school or we're going to go to this team, like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, like
it
not
was
holding
good.
that accountability.
Yeah, so it was good. Exactly. So it was good and it was bad. But as far as like, the connection, I always respected him, you know. I've always loved him, but I didn't express that. I didn't know how to express that, as a kid.
Mm,
Definitely. That's something I've learned later in life. Probably
mm,
from having three daughters.
yes, yes, girls will definitely make you express yourself. I say this with two daughters myself. They definitely make me more mushy, and I'm like, what the heck is going on, right? So,
Yes.
um, so with that being said, man, how did your upbringing shape how you approach raising right three daughters?
For sure, man. I always kind of joke like if I had sons, maybe I'd repeat the cycle, but maybe not. Because I knew what I liked and what I didn't like as a kid growing up, right? And I was that kid that rebelled once I met that group that I actually really liked, the group of people that I clicked with and I liked, and it happened to be the homeboys that lived downtown that like to party, right? And
Yeah.
so I started partying at a very young age, bro. But um, as far as how it shaped me, if I had sons, I think I would definitely be a lot more open, teach them a lot more emotion. But I'd still like we're boys. You're gonna be men one day. You, I'm old school. I'm traditional in a sense. I'm open minded, but I'm still traditional in a sense. I take care of the woman. I would, my girlfriend works, but if I could pay for everything, of course she wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Or if she wants to work because we both like to travel and we both like to go to these big events like we're going to EDC in May. That's 6-7 grand right there. So in order to do these things, maybe we both have to work, but that's the life that we enjoy. But I have girls, I have daughters, so I can only speak to that, right? But the honest truth is my oldest daughter kind of got the brunt end of it because I had her at 19. I didn't know shit at that age, bro. I was partying. I
Yeah,
was I was,
you were still a kid.
I was a kid, bro. And I was with guys that they were good dudes. They're two guys that I'm best friends with to this day. My friends that I talk to every day. That when I'm in Cali, that's who I visit. They come out here and visit me. So these are honest. These are real friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are guys that my dad didn't like me associating with growing up, but he put me in the school because he thought that school, with all the rich kids, he's like, this is where you need to be. Like,
Yeah.
no, I played football and I met these guys, and they were the ones who were part of, affirmative action. So they
Yeah.
came to that school, they were bussed in but they were real people. And I was just always like, I want to be around those types of people. So anyways, I have three daughters, right? My oldest one, she's 21. My middle one, is 8 and my youngest is 2, but they're about to be 9 and 3 here very soon.
Okay.
But that's the range, right? My oldest one, that's with my first mother's baby mama,
Mm-hmm.
and my two youngest are my second baby mama. So I had a little bit of a break. Um, my oldest and her mom, we got married. I was in the Air Force here in San Antonio, brought her out here, tried to do the family thing. We met partying. We met doing. I don't know what I can say on here, bro. Is this honesty complete?
Yeah, yeah,
Open?
whatever, man. Yeah,
You
whatever,
know,
whatever you're comfortable with, bro.
yeah, bro. I mean, we party. I party, bro.
Yeah.
And so getting pregnant at a young age was like, whoa, what are we gonna do? And I always knew, my grandpa would always tell me, hey, if you're ever in a tough spot, the Air Force is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always be like, oh, I don't want to join the military, this, and that, and the third. And um, I ended up making that decision. So I came out here to San Antonio. Um, 3 months. So my daughter was born January of 2004, and I left for basic training April of 2004.
Oh wow.
And I'm gone. I was apart from them for like 9 to 10 months.
Dang.
And well, there was once towards the end where they flew out to Wichita Falls to visit me,
Mm-hmm.
but that was still like 7 months later, right?
Okay.
It's a long time, and my baby, I saw her at 3 months old. I was there for the pregnancy, the whole nine, bro. They came out here. We tried to do the family thing. Baby mama, she just didn't want to leave the old lifestyle, And me being in the Air Force, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not drinking. I'm
Yeah.
trying to kind of like, you know, I'm doing the military thing. I'm changing my life, and I'm
Yeah.
bringing you along with me, but you don't want to do it. So, um, but I'm not innocent.
Yeah.
I kept in contact with, a girl that I was involved with, through high school, and my my baby mama at that time, she caught wind of some conversations, and that kind of ended that relationship. But hey, man, that was what my life was. That's
Yeah.
that kind of. But my daughter stayed with me.
Mm.
She stayed in Texas with me. So at this point, um, she was 2.5 years later, so she's about 3.5, 4 years old. Her
Okay.
mom and I split. It's kind of like, holy shit, bro, you're living out your childhood. My mom and dad split when I was
That's
4.
crazy.
It's crazy,
Full
right?
circle. Full circle.
It's fucking crazy, bro. And now it's happening here, but I did it for the right reasons, bro. Like I was that guy who was like, no matter what, like we're gonna stay together for the baby. Like that ain't it. You
Mm.
can't do that, bro. And so
Yeah.
we ended up splitting. She went back to Cali, but the baby stayed with me
Mm.
because she had nothing to go back to. And I had my daughter for about 2 years here in San Antonio with me. I stayed married to the mom because she wasn't from here. It's Guatemala. You know,
Mm.
she was came here legally, but I got her green card, or not her green card, but her residency
Yeah.
because we were married. And so the deal was, hey, I'm gonna stay married. You're gonna get your stuff right. We're gonna, I'm not gonna take the baby from you, but she's gonna stay here. Like, she didn't like that.
Mm.
So we ended up going to court. This whole crazy drama. It was dragged out for like 2 years. The
Okay.
military got involved. They kept me from going to different places because of it. Well, you don't have papers. There's nothing saying that. I was getting a house built here in San Antonio, bro. I was like 25 years old, 26. I was getting a house built
Wow.
over there by Lackland. Like, I was gonna raise her,
Yeah.
and her mom got her. At that point, um, it got really bad because my lawyer ended up trying to charge me, 20 grand because it's going to do this and do that. And
Wow.
basically my back was against the wall. I didn't have that kind of money. I'm an airman in the military. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so I defeated. I went into the lawyer's office and didn't read what I was signing.
Mm.
And her mom raised her in California, and we're dealing with that right now. We're dealing with the outcome of that. I
Mm.
love my baby. That's my firstborn, bro. You know what I mean? And we work together, and I've actually had to miss work and leave and go back to Cali because of a lot of things. She's going through some mental health issues. The man she's involved with, it's the daddy issues, it's the mommy issues.
Yeah.
I was always there, but physically, you know,
Yeah.
at a young age, I thought, well, I can do this from Texas because I'm finishing school, like I'm still in the military, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get out, like, and I'm gonna go back to Cali, right?
Yeah.
I had this whole plan, and it didn't work out that way, man. Life
Mm.
happens, things happen here. Got into some trouble here and there, and her mom ended up raising her, and
Mm.
so we're going through that right now.
Now, does she understand? Hopefully, if she watches this or listens to this, right? Does she understand though? Like, hey, you tried, to get full custody. You had it all mapped out, and things went sideways. Does she understand it now as she's older, or is it one of those things? It doesn't really matter because I'm not saying your baby mama did this either, but sometimes, right, when we're hurt, right, you might have did it, she might have did it, but we'll badmouth or we'll say things that's not true. And as a child, right, we're going to believe it because it's our parent. Why would our parent lie to us, right? So, is there certain things that she believes isn't true or is true, or is she at a place where, yes, she's still working through whatever she's dealing with, but she understands, okay, my dad really was trying to do all he could. Unfortunately, life happens, and it messed up or it prolonged some things.
I know deep down inside, cause her and I were close, bro. I raised her by myself here, went from 24 years old to 26 years old, and she was 3.5 to like 5, 6, bro. I raised her, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was a crazy time, dude. I'm in the Air Force. I'm working on like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a little girl on top of it, and I'm taking classes, working on my general education at night. So I'm putting her to bed by 8:30, reading her a bedtime story. That was what my dad used to do to me. He used to read to me, man. And then it got to where I would read to him the newspaper driving around. So, I always read to my kids.
Yeah.
I knew that regardless, reading comprehension, is huge. It helps with everything, And so, um, I raised her, bro, to like that was my mini me, bro.
Yeah.
And so we've always been close, even distance. Like she'd come every summer. Every time I went to California, I would get her. I was the one who was always throwing the birthday party, so I would fly from here out there, throw all the birthday parties for her, do the whole thing, invite everybody, you know what I'm saying, bro? So we've always been close. She knows I love her because she still calls me to this day. She might talk shit to me. She might, you know, say some really mean stuff to me,
Yeah.
but she still calls me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? And so even though some things might hurt, I have to man up and be like, I fought myself, did you do enough?
Mm.
Could you have just picked up and just left San Antonio, right? Even though you had all this other things going for you, right? I didn't have my other two daughters yet, none of that
Yeah.
shit. And just went back and slept on my dad's couch or on my mom's couch for 6 months, because I could have figured something out there,
Yeah.
But did you do enough, Adam?
Mm.
And to this day, I can honestly say, no, I didn't.
Mm.
And I fought myself a lot on that. I've tried to justify, but the reality is, dude, is I didn't. I could have picked up and just left and went back to Cali, but I didn't think it was that. I didn't have the capacity, the emotional capacity, and the mental capacity or the experience to understand, like, no, bro, like, this is going to be the same thing that you went through because your dad always left you home alone. You were always doing your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Your mom wasn't around. But I figured because we had phones and we talked all the time and I would fly out there and then I had her I thought I was doing enough.
Yeah.
Because she always had access to me. I was never gone. I wasn't a deadbeat dad. I paid child support. I did my thing, right? And, so it's there, but she don't want to hear it. She don't want to
Well,
hear the this and that. And I don't, and you know what? All right, I respect it. I tried,
yeah.
the last few years have been tough. I've tried to bring up, hey, baby, like, that's not true. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
This is really what happened. She ain't ready for it yet.
Yeah. She's I was well, let me say this too. So hindsight's 2020, right? So obviously it's so easy to say that now, but at the time you felt, you could always correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know, but you felt, hey, let me get my stuff together here, right? Set
Yeah.
myself up correctly,
Hmm.
and I'm still able, at the time there was no FaceTime, right? But hey, I'm calling on the phone anytime she needs me. I'm there. I'm coming for the summer. All these different things that I'm trying to set up for her, right? To the point where she's old enough. Hey, you can come out here with me. I'm not tripping. You can stay with me, right? So you're thinking that you're not understanding, and I think that just shows how important as fathers we are, because you was there, but you wasn't physically there, and it still impacted her, right? And that
Absolutely.
just shows how amazing that you are as a father, right? Because like you said, you wasn't a deadbeat dad. It's not like she was like, man, I never see my dad. I haven't seen my dad for years. I haven't talked to him, right? Many of us as men, unfortunately, have had that experience, right? I have no clue where my dad, like, she knew where you was at, right? And so, the end of the day, yes, you can look back and be mad at yourself, but all you can do now is try to tell her like what you already did, right? Apologize and say, hey, if she thinks that's true, that's fine because that's her truth. That's how she feels. That's what she experienced, right? And again, we don't know, or maybe you do, but what was said to her as well, right? So certain things that might not be reality, and as she gets older, then she starts understanding. My daughter, I have a 19-year-old, right? So this hits home for me. I have a 19-year-old, and so certain things I say to my daughter might not register with her now, but I tell her all the time, you're going to understand at some point. You know, I made my mistakes, and I tell her all the time, I am not perfect, right? Not even close. And I'm like, you're gonna understand, like, dang, this is what dad was dealing with. Dang, this is what happens in this type of situation, right? And so, I remember I told my daughter too. I said, hey, unfortunately, I can tell you right now, I'm confident you're going to experience heartbreak, and there's nothing I can do about it,
Yeah.
right? And all I can do is be there for you, right? And at the time, she's dating or whatever. She's hearing me, but it's one of those things I wonder because right when you know how it is, man. When like you say you met your baby mama at 19 or whatever, you probably think this is gonna be forever, right? So you have this type of mindset at that age, right? And it's not until you're older where you're like, dang, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. And so I say all that to say I feel like that'll be for your daughter as well. As long as you keep showing up, as long as you keep loving her, which it sounds like you're doing, to your best ability, man. Because again, just from our conversations, I know you love all of your girls so much, man. And there's not, not nothing you won't do, right? You're literally contemplating leaving a city for your girls, right? So like, there's no limitations that you'll put on there. So I wanted to ask you, because like you said, you're dealing with that with your oldest and things like that. How have you approached even maybe when she was younger and even for your younger daughters as well? How do you approach emotional connection with your daughters
Oh man.
compared to how your father connected with you?
Oh man, it's night and day.
Mm,
It's night and day, bro. Even I mean, you know, having my oldest daughter at a young age, but being there through my early 20s and impacting, because remember I mentioned I used to read to her,
yes.
right? The little things, right? I made sure she had her meal and I made sure she ate healthy at a young age because I knew I didn't,
Mm,
right? And so um, those little details, you know, I knew would impact her. At that age, I didn't know for a fact, but I believed they would, right? But
yeah.
now that I'm older, I'm 40 years old now. I'm about to be 41 in a week, but she eats healthy. She knows how to eat well, right? I used to when she was like 12, we would go to IHOP. I would have her for the weekend. I'd fly out to Cali. I'd have her for the weekend, and I would take her to school Monday morning, right? Before I'd fly out Monday back to Texas. We'd
Mm.
always go to IHOP by her school, and this little girl would get salmon for breakfast. The IHOP salmon, bro.
That's crazy.
Broccoli. And she's just 12 years old. Like,
Yeah.
that was good, Dad. And it's because I would feed her stuff that I didn't eat because I was a picky little kid. And my dad would be like, yeah, you don't got to eat it. Right?
Yeah.
But then, like, my friends would make fun of me because I'd like Mexican food, but I'd always order Mexican food with no onions, no tomato, no fucking, none of the avocado, sour cream. I didn't eat that shit, bro. I would eat a burrito, just the beans, the meat, the fucking cheese, and that's it. Some salsa that I would just put on myself, right?
Yeah.
But now as an adult, and I love all that shit. I get everything on my burrito, bro. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, I know that's a silly, like,
No.
example, but it kind of is it explains it. Just the burrito example, like, it explains it, And so
Yeah.
with her, you know, um, yeah, we're going through that, but I was always affectionate with her. I'd always hugged
Mm.
on her. I always kissed her. I always made sure, whether it was in person or texting or on the phone, that I told her I loved her and that I was
Mm.
always there for her no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And she did. She saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
When she would spend time with me, I probably repeated some of the things, un, subconsciously, not knowing that my dad would do. Right, like, You know, I might bring a random girl that I was dating around, not knowing how that might impact her. You know, how
Yeah.
she viewed me as a man
Mm,
later in life, right? Like, yeah, I love my dad, but you know, he dates dates random chicks all the time.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I didn't know that would fuck with her, right? So,
Mm,
but I was always affectionate. I always made sure that she knew that I loved her and that I was there for
yeah.
her, and that no matter what, you know, to just find something that she liked and just do that and be happy doing it. I didn't have all these crazy expectations. I didn't put all these expectations on her the way my dad did.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe that negatively, maybe I needed to be a little bit more, but who knows, man? Like you say, hindsight's 2020. So with my youngest, God, bro, I mean, it's the same affection, but it's just 100 times more because I have them all the time. You
Mm,
know, um, I've been there for both of those births.
yeah.
They grew up in this house, both
Yeah.
of them. The experience, well, the baby doesn't really know what's going on. She's used to kind of the separation, right? But Olivia, my 8-year-old, my heart, bro, she's my baby, bro. Um, she experienced it,
Yeah.
and it's like, damn, we're doing this again, bro.
Mm,
But I made sure I'm not going anywhere this time.
yeah.
When we split up, I moved down the street.
Mm,
They stayed in this house. You're not leaving. I paid the fucking what bills I could pay, what I could afford to pay. I kept
yeah.
paying. You know what I mean? Baby mama works. She makes bank. Their mom makes bank. These girls are good to go, right?
Yeah.
Um, so as far as that goes, right?
Yeah.
And she's a good mom. She loves them, but she's hardcore. Like she's like the female version of me, and she's a little bit
Mm,
younger. So these are her first kids, right?
yeah.
She's learning right now, but I'm the more experienced, weathered parent, right? And that kind of shows with that experience. But with them, I see them all the time. You know, everything, bro. If I were to take the camera and just pan around the living room right now, like all their toys are here, their jackets are hung up, shit's still, the art boxes are still out. Nothing. I
Yeah.
don't put nothing away, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we're watching TV, they're on me. There's
Mm,
my 8-year-old's hip to hip on her little phone. My baby's sitting on my lap, all watching TV with me. With her, like I'm on my phone, I'm chilling. Like we're not separate. We're together. Like they love being around me. It's different, and I didn't even realize that. Like I just love that. And I've had other people be like, "Damn, dude, your girls love you, huh?" Every time you're posting something, it's just like I'm just like it's normal though. Like, well, thank
yeah.
you, but this shit feels normal to me. This is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be getting an award for fucking being there for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm dealing with not being there all the time.
Yeah.
That hurts me. I take them to their mom, and I'm like, fuck. I come home and I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Takes a couple days for me to kind of, and then when I know they're coming, I'm like excited. Like they're coming tomorrow, bro. I'm excited, dude. You know what I mean? So it's different, bro. They get the love, bro, that I didn't get growing
Love
up,
it.
dog.
I love it, man. What is if anything, um what's the word I'm looking for? What is like I guess something you hope either some really important a lesson that you want your girls um your young girls are I guess they won't be to implement it right away, but your oldest can start, right? But what's like a important lesson or something you hope that your daughters can learn from?
Well, we didn't really get into it directly, but I know, the theme has come up a lot in this conversation we've had about accountability. I
Yeah.
know I've taken a lot of accountability, bro. We can have a whole other podcast on more detailed experiences that I've had as a young man growing up, and even as a kid in high school and what I got into, bro. You know what I mean? That really shaped me as a man,
Mm,
to this day. But
yeah.
that's a 2 hour conversation we could have. But
Hey, we can have you back on, brother. I'm not tripping on it.
no, I'm telling you. But man, I just, I don't know, man. Like I feel like I want them to know that take accountability for, you know, your experiences in life. And the young ones, it's not about the bad stuff, it's about the good stuff. I want them to, you know, not have all the negative impacts and have to grow up so fast, and and I want them to have the fucking Christmases and the we have the Christmas tree, bro. Like I didn't have that shit growing up, but when it's Christmas time, like we do the thing. Halloween, my 8 year old, she loves Halloween, bro. She likes all the scary shit. We have the severed hands and heads that we hang up. Like she loves all that stuff, right? But for my oldest, I want her to know that, shit's tough, but like, you know, people love you. We're here for you. I ain't going nowhere, no matter good or bad, no matter what you do. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not gonna ever discourage you. I might say like maybe we can do this a little bit differently, but I'm never gonna tell you, you know, don't do that unless it's bad. You're gonna hurt
Yeah.
somebody or hurt yourself. But she's a very intricate artsy. She's eccentric. I love my oldest. She's crazy. She's out there. But I just want her to know, like she's young and her life ain't over. You know what I mean? And she's experiencing what I experienced at that age. So
Mhm.
her deal right now, bro, is she just can't take accountability for her choices as an adult. She's got
Mhm.
options, man. She's got people who will help her get on back on her feet, but she don't want to.
Yeah.
She thinks she's doing it, bro, and she's suffering right now. But I'm there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I want her to
Yeah.
know that when she has kids one day and she's going through this, don't leave them. Be there for them, regardless of what they're doing, how that might hurt you or how you might not agree with it. Because
Yeah.
in the end, that's the accountability that I have to take as a parent. Because I want to be like my dad and be like, you stupid mother, don't do that shit like that. You know what I mean? But you can't talk to these kids like that these days
Yeah.
because they're just gonna be like, "Shh, fuck up." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
my babies, bro, they're gonna, my 8 year old, she works hard in school. Her report cards always, um, you know, are like
Mm.
hard worker, volunteering when she's done with her project or with her test to do more work. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, baby,
Yeah.
slow down. Like, you know what I mean? But um, I don't know, man. Everything's a work in progress, bro.
Mm.
I'm learning still. At 40,
Yeah.
going on 41, I'm still learning every day. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know this week when I have my girls, something's gonna happen where I'm gonna have to control my temper, where I'm gonna have to be a little bit more soft and
Yeah.
empathetic and right, but also, baby, like we got to make logical choices. We got to be smarter. We got to plan better, right? So it's all a work in progress, man. But I think that in the long run will benefit them as adults and how
Mm.
they navigate, you know, their emotional or intimate relationships or their children and those relationships. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro?
No, I like that, bro. And it's crazy because like right, like it's crazy just with genetics and just cycles and things like that because like right, similar things that your dad dealt with, you end up experiencing full circle. Certain things that you said, like certain patterns that you had at your daughter's, your 19-year-old at her age, you're seeing certain things you did, right? And so good or bad, and it's just like being able to recognize that. But the difference is, right, even if she doesn't realize that she has her dad there to be right there with her, like, hey, I also experienced some of this. So I'm right here. You're not by yourself, which I think is a beautiful thing, bro. And so, I have two questions for you, and then we'll get ready to close out. But my second to last question is, um, what would you say to anyone that is dealing with this when they're trying to uh, be there for their kids, or it's one of those things where maybe they're even dealing with it where their child feels a certain type of way about them either not being present enough, or they felt like they could have did things differently because, like, even though I know there's certain things you wish you could do different, hindsight's 2020. Like I said, you can only do so much. So what's like one advice I guess you could give to someone that's dealing with something similar?
Let the ego and the pride go and listen to your babies, man. And
Mm.
from a father's perspective, right? And to anybody who's listening, mother or father, you know, people that are together in a relationship that are raising their kids together, or separately, co-parenting, or mother's not around or dad's not around. There's so many different dynamics, right? That we could be talking to, that could be listening right now. And so, but as a father, and knowing now what I probably longed for and wish I could have had growing up, and might have helped me in certain times of my life make better decisions.
Yeah.
Listen to your fucking kids, man.
Mm.
Don't think that what you know or what you experienced or is gonna work for them. You might have a child that is completely opposite of what you were or who you were as a kid.
True.
And don't try to mold them into what you want or to what you expect them to be. Let that shit grow, and allow them to express themselves. You know what I'm saying? And be there for them when they fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but just listen. Like, I don't know, man. Like, listen, and then yeah, be there. Fucking suck it up. It's gonna mean less nights at the club, at the bar. It's gonna mean less, trips with the homies, and might having to change certain lifestyle habits, shit like that. Real shit.
Yeah.
This shit's real, bro. These are human beings we're raising to go out into the world, and and children that have that don't have healthy childhoods, they shit happens, man. Bad
Yeah.
things happen. So listen to your kids, listen to them, love them, be there for them. Make sacrifices, because it ain't about you
I like that, bro.
anymore.
No, that's real, man. Then they just close it out, man. This is, and maybe it'll be a simple answer for you, but
Yeah, right.
what, or it might be difficult depending on. It's a simple question, but it might not be a simple answer. What does what does being a father mean to you, bro?
Damn, that is a simple question and a hard answer, bro. Being a father, damn dog, you're in a fucking you you bad, bro.
Hey, man.
Damn dog.
Now take your time, bro. As men, it's okay. That's the thing that which is good. Everybody's been saying, but it's okay for us to really get emotional, really, you know what I mean, break some of these chains, break some of these stereotypes, you know what I mean. And so, man, no, that's what I wanted to ask you, bro, because it's something heavy to me, something I'm passionate about, and I know you're definitely passionate about it, man. So I wanted to, that's why I say that last for you as well, because I know,
I
I
appreciate that, man. I
yeah,
appreciate
man,
that. Ooh, well, first of all, it means a lot to me. It's important. It's probably the most important thing in my life.
mm,
I used to identify myself, right, by all these things that I thought I was involved with, or that I liked, or that I was into, right? But to this day, you know, even going through the experience with my oldest, um, I mean, damn, bro, it's 21 years of being a father. Um, is I'm a protector. You know what I mean? Um, and however that means to you, or to the next guy, or to the next guy, it could mean something different. For me, um, just doing my best to protect them from getting hurt, right?
mm,
Um, and then just guiding them to be smart, loving, strong women. You know what I mean? And not ever giving up, no matter what I'm
mm,
dealing with. It don't matter, bro.
yeah, yeah, man. No,
Um, so that's what it means to me, and that even is a work in progress.
yeah,
Cause no one's ever asked me that shit, dog. And that shit means a lot to me, and to articulate that, that's tough, bro. So thank you for that, man. And damn, that's gonna be out there for everybody to see. But it's all good, bro, because I hope, you know, I've done shit like this, but never in podcast form, dog.
Yeah.
I've had these kinds of conversations with men, you know, whether it's my church or friends, or just random people who've maybe I've come across and just felt some kind of need to ask me. You know, maybe I put out this energy or whatever that I just don't know, and you know, but um, to articulate that, man, that's crazy, and it's a work in progress. And I think the answer, if you ask me that in a year from now, it'd be a different answer.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that goes to your growth. You know what I mean? That goes to your growth, man. And so, what I try to do as well, man, is as we're getting ready to close out, y'all. I just wanted to give you your flowers as well, man. It's just again, just from our conversations, our interactions and stuff like that, man. I know you love hard. I know you care. And so, man, I know it's a work in progress with your oldest, but you love so hard, man. You're an amazing father. Do you make mistakes? Yes, we all make mistakes, but you also aren't prideful enough to hold on to those mistakes, right? You're not also too prideful to try to justify it. You know what I mean? And make excuses for it. Maybe when you were younger, but as you've gotten older, you realize that's not the best way to be. That's not the best example to be, man. And so, keep setting the standard, bro. Keep setting that foundation, man. It's not easy at all. You know what I mean? Whatsoever. To your oldest, what she had to deal with. Not to minimize that, she definitely had to deal with a lot, and that was also hard for you too, right? Just because I see how, like you said, you're so excited when your two youngest are coming. So I can imagine how difficult it was when you was flying back to Texas from California, right? I can imagine the times you probably broke down because you couldn't see her. Yeah, you saw her, you talked to her on the phone, but you wasn't able to physically give her a hug. So the same way that she was hurting in certain ways, hopefully she sees this or hears this and knows that, man, my dad was hurting too. You know what I mean? So, man, again, salute to you, bro, for sure. I
Thank you, man.
appreciate your time, man. I really do, bro.
I appreciate the opportunity, bro. And you know, yeah, let's talk more, bro. Let's get
Yeah,
together. Let's talk about this. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so, again, y'all, make sure you share, like, tell a friend, right? And like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. See you guys on the next one.